The EU said it is urgently discussing a new round of sanctions on Russia as it condemned atrocities reported in Ukrainian towns that have been occupied by Moscow's troops. The EU will advance work on further sanctions against Russia. Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell said that the EU condemns in the strongest possible terms the atrocities reported in Ukrainian towns that have been occupied by Russian forces, including the town of Bucha, where corpses were found with their hands bound. Biden has called for Russian President Vladimir Putin to be tried for war crimes as evidence emerged of atrocities allegedly committed by Russian forces in Ukraine. There is mounting international anger over the alleged killing of civilians in Bucha. Without evidence, Russia said images of atrocity had been staged by Ukraine. Biden's intervention follows publication of the new satellite photos by the Earth observation company Maxar, which show bodies lining Bucha streets during its occupation by Russian forces. Pakistan's political turmoil deepened when Prime Minister Imran Khan avoided an attempt to oust him and sought a fresh election after dissolving parliament, a move the opposition called treasonous and vowed to fight. The Deputy Speaker of Parliament, a member of Khan's party, blocked an opposition no-confidence motion that Khan had been widely expected to lose, ruling it was part of a foreign conspiracy and unconstitutional. Sri Lanka's opposition has rejected an invitation from the president to form a united government, urging his resignation of the country's worsening shortage of food, fuel, and medicines. The opposition's demand came as anti-government protests continued throughout the country over its worst economic crisis in memory and deepening mistrust in President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's leadership. IDX Channel reports.
World Bank lower Indonesia's economic growth projection. Market headlines will be right back after the break.
Presidensi G20 di Indonesia akan mendorong upaya bersama untuk pemulihan ekonomi dunia dengan tema Recover Together, Recover Stronger. Kami akan menjamu Yang Mulia dan Bapak Ibu di hamparan pantai Bali yang indah yang menginspirasi gagasan-gagasan inovatif untuk produktivitas G20 ke depan. Sampai bertemu di Indonesia, terima kasih.
Perbincangan hangat tentang isu dan kebijakan ekonomi terkini yang diulas secara mendalam bersama narasumber terpercaya. Market Review, Senin sampai Jumat, jam 10 waktu Indonesia bagian Barat, hanya di IDX Channel.
Kewaspadaan terhadap penyebaran Omikron harus terus diperketat.
Ya, hal ini sebagai antisipasi dari masuknya virus varian lainnya ke Indonesia.
Awali hari Anda dengan informasi dunia ekonomi yang diulas dari berbagai sudut pandang. Simak pula analisa pasar modal dan inspirasi bisnis dari berbagai perusahaan rintisan. Power Breakfast, Senin sampai Jumat, jam 8.30, hanya di IDX Channel.
Welcome back. The World Bank revised down its 2022 economic growth forecast for Indonesia to 5.1% due to the Russia-Ukraine war. However, the figure is slightly higher than the growth forecast for East Asia and the Pacific at 5%.
The
World Bank revised down its 2022 economic growth forecast for Indonesia to 5.1% from 5.2% due to the Russia-Ukraine war. The figure is slightly higher than the economic growth forecast for East Asia and the Pacific at 5%. World Bank chief economist for East Asia and the Pacific, Aditya Mato, noted that various upheavals caused by the war and related sanctions could have the most concrete impact on the East Asia and Pacific region, including commodity supply disruption, rising pressure on the financial sector, and declining global trust. The East Asia and Pacific region's direct dependence on Russia and Ukraine for the import and export of goods and services and capital is still limited, but the war and related sanctions will likely raise food and fuel prices on an international scale at the expense of consumers and growth. Commodity exporting countries such as Indonesia and Malaysia can stem the international price hike more easily than commodity importing countries such as Fiji and Thailand. For this part, Mato suggested that the governments of East Asian and Pacific countries reconcile their spending needs on account of the increasingly tighter budget limitation through commitment to recover fiscal discipline. IDX Channel reports.
The Confederation of Indonesian Trade Unions fully supports the Ministry of Manpower's plan, which will require companies to provide religious festivity allowances in full this year. President of Confederation of Indonesian Trade Unions, Said Iqbal, said that there is no reason for companies that are still having difficulties to not pay the allowance to workers, where he suggests that the company could borrow funds from the bank to pay the allowance. He said that the religious festivity allowance can increase people's consumption and purchasing power, and furthermore, based on a survey conducted by the Confederation of Indonesian Trade Unions, workers spend 1.5 times their salary because they receive additional funds from the religious festivity allowance.
Yang tidak mampu ini, tentu Partai Buruh dan KSPI tetap meminta untuk membayar THR 100%. Dari mana uangnya? Uangnya adalah dari meminjam dari ke bank. Nah, dengan uang meminjam dari bank, kemudian mereka membayar THR, ingat, uang THR itu, buruh itu membelanjakan THR adalah untuk konsumsi di hari Lebaran.
Bank Indonesia estimates that digital financial transactions will continue to grow during Ramadan and Eid. The central bank sees the growth is inseparable from the expansion of digital payments that spans various transactions.
Bank Indonesia estimates that digital economic transactions will continue to grow, given that the trend in people's habits has changed during the pandemic in the last 2 years. Head of the Payment System Policy Department of Bank Indonesia, Filianing Sihandarta, explained that the trend of increasing digital economic and financial transactions is not only seen from the total transaction value, but also from the total volume. The strengthening of digital transactions cannot be separated from the expansion of digital payments that have made it easier for people to carry out various transactions, including in terms of consumption. For this reason, Bank Indonesia believes that this year's Ramadan and Eid period will increase even higher.
Di Nataru, ya, di Natal Tahun Baru, di Januari, Februari biasanya akan turun. Tetapi kita yakinin di Maret dan April ini akan naik kembali, ya, terutama dalam menyambut Ramadan dan Idul Fitri, ya. Nah, kalau kita lihat ini ada dua sisi, non tunai dan tunai, gitu ya. Nanti kita lihat di digitalisasi, ya. Yang ini kita lihat transaksi ekonomi keuangan digital ini tumbuh menguat karena apa? Karena tadi didorong oleh perluasan digital payment.
With the convenience of digital transactions that have been enjoyed by the public, Bank Indonesia believes that digital economic and financial transactions will continue to develop. Public interest in digital transactions will also be stronger. Jakarta, Raharjo Patmo for IDX Channel.
The Indonesian government continues to encourage the role of the G20 to improve the skills of the workforce, the challenges for the workforce due to digital disruption and the COVID-19 pandemic have made a community-based vocational training approach as one of the topics that Indonesia proposed in the G20. Chair of the G20 Employment Working Group, Anwar Sanusi, explained that community-based vocational training can strengthen access and quality of job training and entrepreneurship. With this vocational training approach, it is hoped that it can strengthen business relationships, both large and small business groups, including informal business groups at the local and regional levels.
Kita memperkenalkan namanya adalah Community Based Vocational Training. Ya, ini adalah BLK yang dikelola oleh komunitas. Ini kita ingin bahwa yang namanya pembangunan manusia, sumber daya manusia, ini bukan hanya urusan dari pemerintah, tapi juga urusan dari semua pemangku kepentingan, di dalamnya adalah masyarakat.
Semen Indonesia to disburse 1 trillion rupiah as dividends for shareholders after the break on market.
Meniti langkah kemenangan di bulan Ramadan. Saksikan program-program pilihan yang menginspirasi di bulan Ramadan. Kids Menu. Small Space.
Selain full kayu, interior dari mejanya, kayaknya sih belum ada kafe yang pakai kayu-kayu jati.
Quran Inspiration.
Jadi ternyata nasihat itu nggak harus dari Ustadz ya?
Nggak harus dari Ustadz juga.
Dari anak kecil?
Mungkin Allah tahu nih, si Raffi mau Ustadz kurang mempan ini kan si anaknya.
Today Special.
Ketemu lagi dengan saya Markus di Today Special.
Ini uniknya dari Chinese cabbage. Ini saya rendam pakai air es biar lebih crunchy ya.
Saksikan program-program inspirasi Ramadan hanya di IDX Channel. Perbincangan hangat tentang isu dan kebijakan ekonomi terkini yang diulas secara mendalam bersama narasumber terpercaya. Market Review, Senin sampai Jumat, jam 10 waktu Indonesia bagian Barat, hanya di IDX Channel.
Kewaspadaan terhadap penyebaran Omikron harus terus diperketat.
Ya, hal ini sebagai antisipasi dari masuknya virus varian lainnya ke Indonesia.
Awali hari Anda dengan informasi dunia ekonomi yang diulas dari berbagai sudut pandang. Simak pula analisa pasar modal dan inspirasi bisnis dari berbagai perusahaan rintisan. Power Breakfast, Senin sampai Jumat, jam 8.30, hanya di IDX Channel.
We're in the last segment at the Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement. Earlier today, JCI was open at the level of 7,128.41. Then approaching the closing time of a session, the index was on the level of 7,097.32. Then the index was showing weakening trend by the second session closing time. Index was closed at the level of 7,104.22. In short, JCI went down 0.62%. And next, we're going to see the sectoral movement leading the dynamics of today's trading. We got technology as the leader of the strengthening trend that went up 2.1%. Energy went up 1.53%. Transportation and logistics as the leader of the weakening trend that went down 1.8%. And finance went down 1.28%. Moving on to top gainers and top losers, here are the key highlights from today's trading session. ADMR went up 1.25% to the level of 2,430 rupiah per share. Adaro went up 2.33% to the level of 3,070 per share. BRMS went up 11.11% to the level of 240 rupiah per share. And Deutsche went up 17.84% to the level of 535 per share. Meantime, the top losers for today's trading, we got BBCA went down 1.9% to the level of 7,750 rupiah per share. Bank BRI went down 2.13% to the level of 4,600 rupiah per share, and Telkom went down 1.99% to the level of 4,430 rupiah per share, and Bank BNI went down 2.69% to the level of 8,150 rupiah per share. And next, we are going to see the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar. Opened at the level of 14,348, rupiah was also showing weakening trend towards US dollar, was closed at the level of 14,361. In summary, rupiah went down 0.28%. After obtaining the approval of the shareholders, Senin Indonesia plans to distribute cash dividends of 1.02 trillion rupiah. The cash dividends will be disbursed on April 29, 2022.
Senin Indonesia plans to distribute cash dividends of 1.02 trillion rupiah after obtaining the approval of the shareholders at the annual general meeting. Corporate Secretary Vita Mahraini announced that the shareholders have decided that around 50.66% or 1.02 trillion rupiah of the total net profit earned by the company in 2021 is set as cash dividends. Meanwhile, half of the dividend, or 522 billion rupiah, will be deposited as dividends to the state. According to the schedule, the company will pay cash dividends to shareholders on April 29th. As is known, throughout 2021, Senin Indonesia managed to record a net profit of 2.02 trillion rupiah, or a slight decrease compared to net profit in the previous year of 2.79 trillion rupiah. IDX Channel reports.
Indica Energy managed to score a positive performance, and this was reflected in both revenue and net profit growth. In 2021, Indica obtained a net profit of $57.7 million.
Last year, Indica Energy managed to score a positive performance, and this was reflected in both revenue and net profit growth. Based on financial reports, throughout 2021, the company scored a net profit of $57.7 million. Through its subsidiary Kideko Jaya Agung, the company allocates 34% of the total production for domestic needs. In the midst of increasing global coal demand and selling prices, the company is increasingly prioritizing to strengthen diversification in the non-coal sector and commitment to environmental, social, and governance. In 2021, Indica Energy posted revenues of $3,069.2 million, or an increase of 69.2%. The increase in the company's revenue was mainly due to the increase in coal selling prices, where the average Newcastle index in 2021 was $137.3 per ton, compared to $60.7 per ton in the previous year. As a result, the company posted a net profit of $57.7 million, compared to a loss of $117.5 million in 2020. IDX Channel reports.
Supported by significant sales growth, Zarexindo Mandiri Buana managed to book a net profit of 69.7 billion rupiah in 2021, or grew by 91% year-on-year.
Zarexindo Mandiri Buana posted sales of 650.8 billion rupiah in 2021, with a total of 202,000 product units sold, an increase of 192% from 2020. Sales of laptop products and mobile equipment dominated, with a contribution of 569.7 billion rupiah. As a result, the company was able to book a net profit after tax of 69.7 billion rupiah, compared to 36.4 billion rupiah in 2020, an increase of 90.7%. The company's return of equity is at the level of 34.8%, with the company's basic earning per share being 55.67 rupiah. With the support of significant sales performance in 2021 and seeing the very potential and growing Indonesian market, Xerox targets sales of at least 800 billion rupiah in 2022 and net profit after tax of 91 billion rupiah. IDX Channel reports.
And the news close our market lens today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, Your Trustworthy Economic, Business and Capital Market Channel. I'm Wicky Adrian. Have a nice evening.